Hello everyone, welcome to this live session. We will be having Dr. Ruhi joining us shortly. So let me just try to get her in. Yeah, I'm just trying to get her. Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Today we have with us Dr. Ruhi. She is a psychiatrist and she will be answering all our questions. Hi Dr.
Hi,
Ruhi. Hi
how
Vidya.
are you guys?
I'm good.
Doing
How are you?
good. How are you?
Very well. Vidya, your network is a bit laggy, or I'm not able to
Oh,
hear you
okay.
clearly.
I'm
Am I
not
audible?
sure. Yes, yes.
Yes, you are
Oh,
audible.
all right.
I'm good, right?
Okay. How about now?
Yeah,
Better.
I think we are good to go. Little bit of lagging is there, but it's okay, manageable.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Ruhi, for joining us today at such a, at this hour. Thank you so much for making this time. And today's topic is just so awesome. Yeah, pleasure is all mine to have you here with me. Like, you know, today's topic is something that is so interesting and, how to ask for help. This is the most difficult thing, seriously. People don't ask. People don't ask. People just don't ask. And things would have been so much easier if people just asked, you know. Recently, I was watching a video, and the video was of Bill Gates, and he was mentioning his story and the way he started off, and when he wanted any help, um, I don't really remember the name of the people he called and he asked for things. But then he said, he was just starting off with something and he called this person, and that person was kind of a very recognized person. And Bill was unknown to him. He called him, he asked him for something, and that guy he smiled and he gave it to him. And, basically what he was trying to tell is that I asked and so I received and I was able to move forward and achieve something. So that was so beautiful. And today we have this topic, this session. So it's just awesome. Yeah, I'll let you start off with it, Vidya. Before that, if Dr. Ruhi, if you have anything to share, it would be great.
Okay. So this topic is even very important for me because although I'm going to say a lot of things today, accepting those things and for me also to be able to apply that in my life, it took a long time, right? Teaching somebody or preaching is very easy, but walking the walk definitely takes much more strength. And especially with all this, morcha of going on strong women, we can do everything. Accepting that we can't sometimes and accepting that, we have to ask for help is very difficult. Okay, because somehow it happens that if you are personality of someone who has always taken care of others and you are somebody who has been the responsible one, first of all recognizing that you can't do something itself brings a lot of emotions, that in some situation you are falling short or you are helpless, right? And on top of that, accepting that in front of somebody else is very difficult, right? So although I started learning these concepts when I started coming in this field, I think more of it I did even when I became a mother, because then I actually realized that I can't do everything on my own, right? But initially, definitely it was at the brim of when I was totally frustrated and I just couldn't, there was no ounce of strength left. But now I have started learning that, if I'm anyways going to ask for help, why suffer, right? Do it much more earlier and in a systematic way so that I also don't go through any sort of pain or, discomfort, and then others also around me. Because, they can't read my minds. They can't come and see what is going on inside me. And if I can't express, that's my problem. That responsibility was on my side. So this is something that as an experienced person I can say, and of course as a professional, I'm going to add a lot of it as we go with the question.
Yeah, I have to, am I audible?
Yes, you are with them.
Okay, so two main questions, and the thing is how to ask for help to a mother-in-law, because this is the question which we keep getting.
Right.
Okay, it's really very difficult when it many things does not match, and new mothers want to ask for help, but it is very difficult. And the second thing is how to reach out to an expert, how to
Right.
ask for help to an expert. Yeah, could you please answer these two questions, Dr.
You
Rui?
have given me the most dangerous people as the first question: mother-in-law and a mental health professional. You didn't start with the easy one, huh? Okay, don't worry. I'll start with the mother-in-laws. Okay, see, you have to understand that this relationship is very, very complicated. Okay, now I'm not talking about everybody. Of course, we can't generalize. There are very amazing mother-in-laws who are more caring and more, dependable, even sometimes more than our own mothers. That is also seen, right? And then we know that there's an opposite spectrum where they are just a hassle and just a trauma in your life, correct? And I see both of them in my field. Now, the first thing you need to understand is, for your own self, what is your expectation from the mother-in-law? Now, in most of the things, we want to be independent. We want our relationship with the husband to be, the modern one where we are equal, etc., etc. But then when it comes to mother-in-laws, I have sometimes even seen unrealistic expectations from the women's side. That it's her grandchild also, so she should be doing this and that and that. Whereas we are forgetting, and especially in the case of if the mother-in-law was working and now has retired, she has her own life. She has raised her kids, right? So putting that, firm responsibility on them that it is their job to take care of her kids, I think that is unreasonable, especially in today's time and age, because sometimes the mother-in-laws are also working, or they have worked half of their life and now, they are finally retired and they would want to have their own time, right? Coming to the housewives. Now, what happens is there is a power play always going on in the house. Okay. Sometimes it is very, very evident in the communication. Sometimes it is more of, under the covers where we are doing all these psychological manipulations for getting that hold of the whatever is going on in the home according to our choice. What I always advise to the young ones is that just come out of the circus. Although it is very difficult, but the more you are trying to fight this fight, you are just draining yourself. You don't need to prove anybody anything. Your self-worth should not depend on whether the lunch was cooked according to your choice or somebody else's. Give them that onus of self-respect, because you can go out, you are working, you have your own life. For them, that is the only identity factor that they have, right? Now, if still you feel that she should be helping, how about having an open communication that start with maybe the husband instead of the mother-in-law if the relationship is a little bit difficult already or a little bit strained, right? Just tell them that I would require 1 hour of myself or 2 hours of myself, and then see that how much of it rest of the family members can take care. And slowly, when you will see that you are more accepting of the way the mother-in-laws are doing, many times what happens is we want them to help, but the way they are helping is definitely not our way, right? So that creates a lot of conflict. We want a break, we need 2 hours to ourselves, but then what they are doing is not acceptable. Then we want them to do it our way. That's not possible. So your expectations, need to have some realistic stance in them as well. That now if you're depending on her, then you have to accept whatever she does. If you don't, then just get external help. Otherwise, expecting her to act your way, if she already knew how to act your way, then so she wouldn't be your mother-in-law, right? She's a different family. Your own mother would not treat your child as you did, correct? Even my mom, the way she raised me, I am very different from my mother. That doesn't mean my mom was some different. She is the most wonderful mom I could get, but that doesn't mean I'm the same mother to my own kid. So if she can't have the same way of parenting, the mother-in-law ka to chhodi do. So why are you putting yourself under that situation where you go through this trauma? right? And if at all you need, start with the simpler things, right? Maybe just, when the kid is studying, ask them to sit around. Maybe when they're just playing, just so, they are safe, you ask them to sit around. Maybe, just give them a grandmother, grandson type of a time that, you go for a walk every day with him. And that's it. That gives you a good 30-40 minutes of, play. And trust me, once they start bonding with the child, that power play is over. With you, whatever equation they have, once they start, the kids have their way of, creating that bond with the grandparents. They will find their way to cling to them. So let them, the grandchild and grandmother, have a one-on-one relationship so that you are not a part of it. If you feel that there is some red flag and something that needs to be addressed, of course you have the right. You are the mother. In the end, it is your call. But little bit here and there, which is tolerable, let them. Because see, we forget that we are trying to protect our kid at our home, from all these things, weird things that the elderly does. But then we forget the child is going to leave the house in 2 years. They are going to go outside to the world, which is much more weirder. Correct? So learning starts from home. Even if, they are a little bit hassle-free, the kid will understand that I can't depend on them, or I can't, be this close to my grandmother. Kids are very intuitive that way. So this gives your child also to learn that, what kind of people exist in the world. So yes, we have to protect them, but draw a line between overprotection. That will help with, the mother-in-law situation. But if you feel that your relationship is not good with her and you can't trust with your kid, then expecting her to help with your child is just, very, very futile situation to be in. So first of all, address what are your issues with her, solve them, then think about passing your kid. Because if you can't deal with her, how will a child will? Right? They are, they don't have words, vocabulary to understand what they're going through. So if you yourself cannot deal with this person, the child should be way, way off. So you need to find somebody else or some, some other way to take care of that child. That is the mother-in-law. Right? The easier way is involving other people or having in group. Something that I have tried many times is, so for example, you do not trust your mother-in-law per se, right? What you do is when the whole family is together, for example, half an hour or 1 hour before dinner time or around lunchtime, when other people are also around, at that time, leave the kid on them so that that, if not her, somebody else will be there that you can trust. So that is a good start. Like, we don't throw the fish in the pond. We first introduce them to the water and then to the bigger water, that way. So that is a good strategy to go. But definitely every case is different. Once we analyze what the exact problem is, then only we can have particular situation and dependable solutions. But this is something that you can start with.
Yes, definitely, Dr. Ruhi. These points, definitely helps because sometimes we are so overprotective. I remember I didn't know when I had to stop doing that. So it was a little difficult,
Yeah.
When my mother-in-law was taking my child, I would feel, oh, she's taking her.
Yeah.
So yeah, these points are really important. Thank you.
Definitely, I can understand. Even in my case, some of the things that my mother-in-law would do were literally, I would be like, oh my God. And then I would feel that, oh my God, my husband went through that because that is the tradition of their home, right? So I would feel bad for my husband also. But today, the bond that my child has with the grandmother, it's amazing that, every day he wants to video call her and 30 minutes he just keeps on doing whatever he has learned and she keeps on clapping. So now I understand that, for these things, of course, I cannot depend on her, but that doesn't mean these things she cannot do. Right? So, for example, they do not live with us, we live separately. So, sometimes when I'm tired, all I do is keep the phone on and then, I tell her that just talk to him and I just wind up a few things. And that works for me, right? So, I wouldn't deprive my child of that bond, but definitely I would create boundaries. So leaving her physically one-on-one with the child, maybe I would not be comfortable with, but that does not mean that when other people are around or, live now, if she's not there 30-40 minutes, sometimes even hours, they just catch up. He keeps on singing the poems and she keeps on clapping and he's very happy. Great, my 1 hour is saved, right? So that is how you create boundaries, right? You see what she's good at and then you allow her in that. I think that's a good way to start.
Definitely, Dr. Ruhi. Actually, it helps. I think once after this session, no, I'll share this video across and maybe
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Most of the time, this is a big trouble for new mothers. You know
No, it's
how
not
to
just
how
for
to
the
do.
mother.
Yeah.
Even if we talk about divorces, mother-in-laws are the biggest causes of divorces in India. It's literally written in the books. There are causes of divorces. So, one is financial aspect, second is domestic and, other type of violence, and third is mother-in-law. When I read it, I laughed. I was unmarried then. I literally laughed at that point that, oh my God, it's literally mentioned in my psychology books. Yes, mother-in-law, it's written there. Imagine. So, yes, it is a difficult relationship. But then there are ways around.
Yeah.
Not every
Now,
mother, that expectation of Bollywood that whenever she's there, we are there with a
yeah.
thali. That's not possible for all of us, but at least it should be cordial. We should approach for that. That thing of,
Yeah.
they should be our mother, they should treat us like a daughter, we should treat them like a mother. It's not required, right? Just start with that we can breathe in the same space and then build from that.
Yeah. Now that you have told, right, I think many of them will feel better.
Yeah, yes,
I
yes.
just want to add one point over
Yeah.
here, Dr. Ruhi. In fact, I want to ask you that thing. Because from my personal experience, like I really do not have a very difficult situation with my mother-in-law. Okay, there are different issues that we have, of course, not in this point. But then, one thing, what I have always felt is that whenever we have difference of opinion, before communicating to her, okay, I always first discuss with my husband. I always talk to
Yes.
him that, see, this is my opinion, this is something that your mother thinks. Okay, it's not something like, I'm manipulating him or anything. But then this is my opinion and this is your mother's opinion. And I'm going to stick by my, thing. Maybe there will be some compromise or something, but yeah, that's how it's going to be. And he most of the time stays neutral, so that's a good point, good thing for me. But then, because there were some instances wherein, I have had difference of opinion with my mother-in-law in the initial days after my marriage, and that caused a lot of tension between me and my husband. So, if you would like to add something to this point, it would be great because, how to approach, that particular thing. So, see, you are a very strong woman. Okay, that sound, the way you talk, you sound you are confident, you are a confident, powerful woman. But then not everyone is like that, right? There are all types of women out there, and most of the women are brought up with the belief, that husband's mother, those are the things that are priorities in your life. And then, our entire culture, our the media, the TV, and everything that is there, it's everything around the idea that if you obey your mother-in-law, if you abide by the rules that are already set in your husband's house, you are a good wife and you are a good daughter-in-law, you are a good woman. Okay, and if you do not do that, okay, you are bad. Like, that's not true, that's really not true. Okay, and it took time for me to convince myself, like, forget about others, that I am good. Like, I am good, I'm not bad. It's just that this is the way I want things in my life. The way, these are the boundaries that I want to set, these are the things that I want. But these are really difficult situations for all the other women out there. If you have some kind of tips, that would be great on this.
Right. Yeah. So, like you said, and because Vidya directly put me in a difficult question, so I had to start with mother-in-law. But definitely, if you are feeling that you have issues with the husband side of the extended family, it is always a good idea that you keep your questions and your concerns to him only. Let him handle that. So, for example, in my case, any issue on his side is his problem, any issue on my side is my problem. We just don't overlap. So we are very sorted. But like you said, yes, it is true. I am very strong in my mind. I do not take crap from everybody. That's just how I am. And then people are not like that. Okay. So addressing those things. See, the more you will depend on other people for validation, the more you will suffer. Right? All these cultural aspects of obey them, good, bad,
Hats off to that person, like,
right?
yeah.
So you keep on doing, the more you do, the more it wouldn't be. See, I always give this funny example, but it works with all my patients. We all in 10th standard got a certificate, right? Character certificate that we are good. That's it. You're not going to get it again. Keep on trying. Nobody is going to give you. So don't wait for it. Okay? No matter how weak you are, if you are weak, you will suffer. If you want to stop suffering, you have to get up and say something. So the moment you think that I will do this so that they think about me, you're already in trouble. Because first of all, they are not thinking about you. If they are thinking about you, they are first judging you. The moment you enter the house now, the first thing that happens to a girl is judgment. When is she waking up? When is she sleeping? How is she eating? What is she cooking? I have 9 degrees on my name, and the first question that I was asked in my in-laws house from my mother-in-law's mother-in-law was, can you make rotis? And I was like, really? I can literally open your brain right now, and the question is, can I make rotis? Right? So now, if I start getting hurt by that, or if I start making rotis, it is 1 hour of my day. It's okay if she hates me. My 1 hour a day is saved. I never cook roti because it just wastes my time. Right? Just one example of it. Because that need of external validation is not in me, and that's a part of my training. Trust me, I was not this person. There was a time when everybody else's opinion mattered and mine was nowhere in the picture. It was just about showing others how good I am. Years ago, thankfully, I was saved much earlier because I realized no matter how good I do, those who hate me are hating me only. So why am I even trying? Right? Even when I got married, few days before my marriage, even I got that 1 hour lecture from my parents. Now they are your parents. This is not your house. That and all that crap that they teach us. And after 1 month only, I called my dad and I was like, "You are really, you have no idea how the world works. So next time, do not give me advice." It is like that, right? And there is something with this relationship that makes women insecure. I can just, for example, I'm very comfortable sharing my case. Mine is a love marriage. I knew my husband's family for 8 years, 8 long years before marriage. And my mother-in-law was my best friend. Every day I used to call her for 8. We have gone to trips where my partner was not with us. My mother-in-law, me and my mom have gone, right? And the moment I got married, the next day it was like, shakali badli hoti hai. I was like, what happened? Because there are other people intervening then how are you, so comfortable with her? If you're giving this much space, what will she do tomorrow? There are other people fearing their, making them fear this relationship so much, and it just screws things up. So it took me some time to understand and then make her understand all that crap that happens. But it happens to everybody. The thing is, don't be a part of that circus. The moment it started, I noticed, I told her, yeah, what are you doing? You want the hold of the house. I'm anyway not interested in it. Take. You want to cook 3 times, cook 4 times, mera bhi bana do. Understood. Now, if I start showing my husband by doing things, what am I doing? I'm wasting my time. I just told my husband, yeah, ye ho raha hai, and I'm not a monkey who's going to dance in this circle. ठीक है, जिसको जो करना है करो. Simple. Problem over. Now, if they like it,
I am like that. So
see, and you're happy, right?
Yeah,
See,
I am like this. I'm very happy. Like
exactly.
This time of my life,
any girl who is happy after marriage is the one who is doing what she wants. Nah? If you keep on doing what others want, you don't get anything in return. That is why you are sad. And that is true with mother-in-law or your job or anything that you do. Just keep that in mind. That do not, forget who you are. You are a smart, independent woman. Even if you're a housewife, that doesn't make you anything less, okay? Doesn't make you anything. You're not a beneath person. You're just having a different choice of lifestyle. That's all. So you're not beneath anybody. And you don't have to prove anything. You got married. Paper clear ho gaya abhi aur number nahi lene hain humko. They chose you. You are done. That's it.
Yeah. So, okay. I have another question over here. Okay, because it just suddenly popped in my head. Almost always it happens in every case. It has also happened in your case. It happened in mine. I'm sure it happened with Vidya. I'm sure it happens with every Indian girl. Maybe even the girls who are not of Indian nationality. Okay, so there are expectations set on the girl the moment she gets married. Okay, there are expectations set by her in-laws, even her husband, to some extent. So there are no expectations set on the guy. Okay, I don't want to get into that gender, talk, because
That is true. I
we
agree
are
with
like
you. I agree with you. Don't
how
worry.
to
You
ask
don't have
help.
to explain.
Like if I have if people are setting expectations on me, nobody asks me whether you want to do this. Okay, why is somebody else setting expectation on me? Okay, and this situation is so common with it happens with almost every girl out there, and it leaves her kind of confused. She's rattled, she doesn't know. Then she starts degrading herself because she feels like, oh my god, I'm not able to meet these expectations. In the first place, why is somebody setting those expectations? Okay, now but that happens. So how does she ask for help? Who does she ask for help in that particular situation? Because that is the mentality of our entire community. In-laws, parents, husbands, patriarchy is embedded in our system. Even if we say we are we do not follow patriarchy. I will say that even I follow patriarchy to certain extent. Sometimes I do something, I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Because I've been conditioned in that way. So who does that girl ask for help? Because it's a major identity crisis for that woman. So whom should she ask for help, and how should she ask for help?
So the first thing is asking for help. The first thing is, of course, if you have some family member, confide in them that this is an issue for me, right? Second is professionals, but we'll come to that later. First thing is what you can do on your own. Okay. The moment you see these things happening, what happens is we immediately come into that fight or flight mode. The moment we are triggered, right? Now, this is a trigger for us. Na? Ki, yaar, who the hell are you to tell us anything? And here you are dictating when I wake up, when I sleep, what I'll eat, what I'll wear, where I'll go, where I'll not go. That happens with everybody, right? I know of literally my patients where they just got married and the next day the mother-in-law declared that she'll always come out of the room at 7 a.m. My son will sleep till 11. Although both of them are in the same office making the same job, and sometimes the girl is making more money. So she is expected to wake up early on Sunday and clean the house with the mother-in-law. So it's just stupid, right? And will this frustrate? Yes, of course, right? But now you have to live in that house. If you can separate, nothing like anything. But now if you're living in that house, not everybody has that, bandwidth or socio-economic options to separate, correct? In that house, slowly, not on the first day. I always say, few days adjust so that, what happens is all these things are because they themselves are also threatened. Na? New person has come, they want to tame them according to them, otherwise they have to adjust. This is why it happens. A new person comes, now the daughter-in-law is a threat to her own identity, mother-in-law's identity. And see, you have to understand it. Sometimes the mother-in-law doesn't want to be that person. There are neighbors telling her, what is your daughter-in-law doing? How are you allowing her? I hear statements like, the mother-in-law say, I allow my daughter-in-law to wear jeans, kaun karta hai? And I'm like, right? It's just sad, right? But it is the truth. What do you do is, first of all, stop revolting on the first day. Pehle hi din jaake, if you start doing it, you don't have any support. The first thing is, you show them that you are not a threat. You're not here to take their position or sweep away their kid and all. Because the first threat is, agar isko kuch bhi bola, ye leke bhag jayegi. This is a common mentality. Okay. So you show them, yeah, I have no such intentions. Even if you have in your heart, keep it inside for the few days. Have some faith, right? Slowly show them what you are. Then they see the good parts in you. They see कि यार इसमें भी कुछ तो है, खाली डब्बा नहीं लेके आए हैं जिसको हमने ही train करना है. She is a person and she has some good things. So they start melting down a little bit, and then you start setting boundaries. यार मुझसे ये नहीं होता. I am not going to do this. This much I'll do. This much I'll not do. I will not say that the girl needs to adjust, but I will also not say that you don't adjust at all. You have to. See, basic courtesy. Even if I go and live into my auntie's house, I'm going to be according to them, right? So now if you're going in a new family, there's rules stay. But yes, of course. You don't, मतलब वो क्रांति नहीं लेके आनी है पहले दिन वो feminism वाला कि oh my god क्या कैसे दिया. This is who they are. Even if you have these beliefs, see, this is the problem with our generation. ना लड़कियां तो हमने strong कर दी. We are a generation of strong women with very very weak-hearted mother-in-laws. They don't know how to deal with us. Na? अभी उनका क्या था, they suffered all their life, तो अब हम पे निकालना था उनको, and we are not allowing them to do that. So where do they go first of all? We always talk about daughter-in-law कहाँ पे help मांगे, we never talk about mother-in-law कहाँ जाके help मांगे, right? They
No,
had
it's a
last
serious
generation mother-in-law
like
had tortured. It is a serious problem. See, for them that house na is the identity. उनके घर में जो उनके हिसाब से होता है ना, they are the queens there, and then somebody comes who is better than that, and then it's a direct identity crisis for them also. We are forgetting that part. क्योंकि वो टीवी सीरियल में मदर इन लॉस को पूरा वो वैम्प बना दिया ना, so we forget that they are also very very insecure women who lost their son right now, and now they are losing the house also. For you gained a house and gained a husband. For them, they lost a kid and now they are losing the house also. So, Baba, it's a major trigger for mother-in-laws, and that is why they do what they do. Now, if you keep that observation in the head, now you will avoid doing many things that we unintentionally do. My husband going out there without asking her, blah blah blah. Little bit of courtesy towards them, little bit of empathy, and then keeping the husband involved कि भैया इतना हो रहा है, जब तक बर्दाश्त हो करो, उससे थोड़ा सा पहले ही करो. After that, just decide, these are my boundaries. And then, of course, like I said, every situation is different. That's the way you deal with this situation. Because see, and there is nothing wrong with getting up and fighting one day if you want to. Only thing is, don't do it at the expense of your own mental health. That is my point. Nothing. If there is something going wrong, you have to get up and say. But if it is costing your mental health, you have to understand that. Okay? So this is how you ask. And of course, if you can't deal with that, then you have professionals. Yeah.
I just want to add one thing over here. I'm not saying it in a funny manner, but then I really feel that every girl or every woman who is about to get married, she really needs to have a counseling session first with an expert. Because it's easier to tell that do this and just about don't do it at the expense of your mental health. That does not happen in reality, because you know like that book is not an expert. She doesn't know, maybe half of the time she's clueless about what's going on. So I really feel like mental health should be a part of regular health checkup or something. And this is something that I'm not exaggerating or something. I think this is basic necessity. Especially if you're going to be in a relationship, you're going to get married, it's very much required. I don't know about men, okay, because I can't talk on behalf of them, because maybe I've not studied or analyzed them that much. But then I have been with so many women, worked with so many women, spoken to so many women over the course of this entire new mother, since the time we started new mother. And also I've been working from the past 16, 17 years. 14 years I worked in IT industry. So there I interacted with so many women at an emotional level. Okay, my colleagues, I had good friends. This is the issue which almost every woman faces, the moment she gets married. So I really feel that counseling is seriously needed. Whether you're laughing, I'm serious. I'm damn serious. If I, if I knew, or if I had watched this session before I got married, I would have definitely, either got in touch with Dr. Ruhi, or I would have, got in touch with some other professional who could, guide me in the right way. Because this is common and this happens with every woman out there. Unless and until, I don't know, some really exceptional, it happens with everyone.
No, I was not laughing. This is not joke. This is very good point. I'm just thinking such a valid point, and hope it reaches many people.
No,
it is not, I mean,
after 1 month of my marriage, I told my mother-in-law that instead of matching my kundli with the guy, I should have matched my kundli with you. Because anyways, they are sidelined. The main relationship that we are, following up is this one. So why do they even match the kundli with the guy? Just match with mother-in-law whether it is survivable or not. So now you can laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's a trauma.
True.
It's a trauma for both the sides. Yeah.
And I was just thinking, of the point I was just thinking of the point that Nilufar said. It would have, so many things would have been easier if that this, before get counsel.
True.
You will know yourself better, not for others. Just knowing yourself is what is needed.
True. This I always believe
Okay,
that it doesn't matter if you have a mental health issue or
I
not. At least once in your life, now you should go for therapy. Just get yourself analyzed. Just understand what type of a person you are, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. That gives you such a huge tool to deal with life. Yeah, definitely.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Is there something available like that online, or like, is there some tool or anybody is working on that? Anything is happening? Is there any startup or something that is going
Definitely.
to like, help with this area?
No, definitely. I'll do that with you, but I'm anyway doing that myself as well. These days, especially with the awareness that has created, many of my patients do not have any mental health disorder going on, but these lifestyle issues, or sometimes what happens is they want to grow in a certain sector or solve a particular issue. They just come for that for counseling. Not everybody is depressed or anxious or having a major mental health crisis when they come. So this is very, especially in the metropolitan cities, it's very common now. I see a lot of patients like that.
Yeah, it's really needed. I think it should
Actually,
be more, this thing should be made more common and approachable to everyone. That's what I feel, and it's a good idea actually. Yeah, it's a good
I'm working
idea.
on that.
Yeah,
I'll share
really.
with you after the live.
Wow. Great, awesome. We have
Yeah.
we have just one question.
we have two
this question.
questions.
It's
Yeah, after those two questions, Dr. Ruhi, please address my second question.
Yeah. Nilofar, go ahead.
Yeah. So the question is from Vaishnavi. She's asking how to ask help to husband who thinks that it's women's responsibility to do all the household chores and take care of the child. We live abroad and there's no help that I can seek.
Right. So this is where the patriarchy enters, right? So what you need to do is, instead of explaining it to your husband who is not ready to listen, right? Just involve a mental health professional, a counselor. They're called family counseling or couple counseling, where you sit together and have a third person who can have a neutral opinion, right? They don't have any particular agenda because they are not of either person's family. They help you resolve some of these issues. Alone, if you will do, it will just be something that he takes against you. So don't put yourself in that position. Just go for couples therapy, just go for counseling and address these issues, and it really works. Within few sessions you start feeling a different, and we see patients with violence going on, emotional traumas, physical traumas, and that also gets resolved. So this is something that can be taken care of. So just go for counseling sessions, couple counselor or a family therapist.
Thank you, Dr. Rohi. And I just want to tell you that to Vaishnavi that don't have any stigma attached on this, because this is quite common and this is normal. This is something very much normal. This doesn't mean there's something out of the ordinary wrong with you or your husband. So it's just just like going to a medical health professional if you would have any other physical issue. So you guys have this issue and you need to get it sorted. So yeah, please do that. It will help you. Yeah. Yeah. So it's another question that we have. Yeah, Vidya, if you can ask Vidya.
No. I think the second question, when Dr. Ruhi answers, many of
For
them will
mental health
be,
professional, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
There's one
So
more question.
many questions are many. Yeah.
There's
No,
one
sorry. Many questions are based on that.
Yeah, sure. Nilofer,
I think there's some delay.
yeah.
Yeah, there's one question from Shreya. What if the family or the spouse is not ready to go for therapy?
Yeah. So you start your individual counseling and you learn the patterns in the family and only learn what is it that you can do to make it better for yourself. And many times what happens is, if you resolve some of your issues, right, a lot of things change in the family. Okay, I have seen many times that once you control a little bit of your behavior, a little bit of the way that you are saying things, sometimes the way that you are communicating the issue itself, is triggering for the other person. It becomes a direct attack on that person. So there are ways of communication, and there are ways of understanding the cues on what to say, when to say, and how to say. That solves a lot of problems. So it's okay if your spouse is not coming, if your family is not coming, but you know that you are in trouble and you are suffering, come for yourself. So even if the family will stay the same, you will be out. That is the idea. So just come and take care of yourself. Then we will see what to do with the world. That's what I would advise.
Yeah, there's one more question, Dr. Rooney, and these questions are all from different people, okay, but they are so much related to each other. So this question is from Sushmita. She's asking, what if on putting our mental health first, the others start playing more intensified acts of being vulnerable most of the time?
If she's there, can she elaborate a little bit and give me a scenario so that I understand?
What I could interpret from that is, yeah, Sushmita, if you can like elaborate, you please do. But what I can understand from that is, like, basically she is trying to put her mental health first. Maybe she suffered already, or like,
And the
she
other
had some
one
issues.
starts playing the victim, right?
Herself, and she's saying that, my mental health is important, so I am going to prioritize it. Now when she is doing this, the other people, maybe her husband, in-laws, parents, I don't know, other people who are there in her life, they have started behaving like, they are more vulnerable, like, they have intensified it, and they are acting vulnerable. Yeah, so she's asking what to do in that case.
This is a reverse psychology going on. Okay. So what you do is, first of all, if you know that you are suffering, like I always say, just go to a professional and understand what you are actually suffering from. Right? And there are ways to address it before, without involving others. Mental health care does not take more than 10 minutes a day to begin with, right? The expectation that some 24-hour transformation is required, initially it's not required. For example, if I start therapy with a patient today, if I give them a homework, it will not take them more than 5 or 10 minutes a day. And that's enough to begin with. So you can find 10 minutes a day without letting the other person know, right? Now, I think what she's trying to say is, in some way, she's putting the other person responsible for whatever she's going through. That is why they have to show that, no, I am the one who is suffering more. So this is what I talk about, interpersonal relationships, right? What you are saying is important. Why you are saying, when you are saying, and how you are saying matters really much, right? So maybe the way that you are saying is triggering them, or they are taking it as an attack. So you need to change your strategy. That is a problem here, right? Otherwise, if they were not targeted, or if they were not made to feel, as the blame here, they don't need to play the victim, na. They are playing the victim because they are being targeted. कि यार तुम्हारी वजह से हो रहा है. Then they'll say कि नहीं तेरी वजह से भी मुझे हो रहा है. Blaming. So don't blame the other person. If you are suffering, see, your happiness, your mental health, your physical health, everything of yours is just your responsibility. First of all, stop expecting your partner to be your therapist. They are not your therapist. They don't even know what to do with themselves, let alone doing anything with you, right? So this is the worst thing that people do. He needs to understand, she needs to understand. How will they understand? They didn't spend 12 years in psychology college, na. How will they understand? Nobody taught us. You only understand what you are going through. You don't even know what the other person going through. Half the time you yourself don't know what you're going through. How do you expect the other person to know what you're going through? So this expectation itself is, the problem. That usko samajh aana chahiye. Nahi aa raha na. What do you
Well
want to
said,
do?
like,
Right?
yes.
So don't do that to yourself. If you are suffering, go to a professional. Professional के पास कितना time है? 40 minutes, one session a week, 10 minutes a day for yourself. Is that too much of a time? And don't you think you can take that out for yourself? The problem is, whenever we are in some issue, we wait for the other person to get up and do something for us. Now, if your belief is कि उसकी वजह से हो रहा है, even if that is true, I'm not saying that's not true, you are creating it. Even if that is true, stop expecting them to heal it. You cannot find healing from the place of trauma. You cannot get soothing from the place of pain. So if this is something that they are hurting you with, stop expecting वो Dettol का solution from them. They don't have it. So just go and get it. Stop suffering, right? And then think about what to do with the pain. Suffering is always optional. Okay, so stop suffering first of all, then see what is the cause of the pain and then solve it. The moment you will take full responsibility of your well-being, half of the problem is over. The problem is we wait for the other person to do it for us.
Yeah, and I just want to add one more point over here. Okay, there might be times because I did have some conversation with one particular person, like whom I interacted with. Like she was a new mother course participant. So there was one thing that she said. I had advised her. I suggested her that you consult a psychiatrist or a psychologist because you really need to talk. You need to talk out these issues, and I'm not the right person to help you. So you contact so and so person. Then she mentioned that her husband had a problem with that. Like, she contacting an expert. Okay, I will not give the suggestion, but yeah, I want you to suggest Dr. Ruhi what should, because there are cases like this wherein the spouse is not, they are like hey, what is this, like फालतू की चीज है ये क्यों करना है, मतलब क्या हो गया है तुमको, like come, I'll talk, I'll give you advice, come, I'll suggest you, why do you want to go like that. And this is very 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 common. So how to, like, I really need the input from you. Like how should that person then
One person, Nilofer, but this is every person. Anyone in this country when talks about going to therapy, the first answer is why, and then the second answer is no. Okay, and your answer should be I am not going to tell you, I don't care. That's it.
Is it
I've
okay?
literally
Like
had
I what I said to her. There's no point in going back and arguing with your husband. Okay, you are not doing anything wrong. Why do you want to tell him also? Don't tell him now. You just go. Like
exactly.
there are
And
online
today, see, all the
available. Like you
doctors
can.
are available online. You don't have to walk into an office, tell somebody I'm going out of the house. All the therapists are available online. You don't need to tell anyone that you are doing this. If other people are not understanding, just do it for yourself. That's it.
Yeah. You are an adult, okay? Government of India gives you the right to take a decision for yourself and decide who should be in power, like, who should rule the country. That is such a big responsibility. So government of India is trusting you with that. Okay, why do you have to
Yeah.
ask for permission from somebody else? You can take your own decision, right? That's what I said. You don't really have to feel guilty or feel bad that I'm hiding. You're not hiding anything. If that person is not able to understand, then, just keep that person aside and prioritize yourself and go. That's what I suggested her. I don't know
I'll
whether
tell
it's
you
right or
what
wrong. I
happens
think
in this. I'll tell you. No, you are absolutely right. But I'll go one level deeper to explain you what happens in these cases. Okay, why they want the husband to be on the same page is because first of all they want the husband to feel responsible for putting them in that position and to feel responsible that this happened to them on their watch. Right? Putting them on the same page. Even if the husband didn't do it, you were there. You didn't protect me. Again, that need of dependency, that he needs to understand what I'm going through. He cannot, right? He's not a doctor, he's not a professional, he's not you. So again, this need for the validation from the other person, that can you see how much of a problem I am in? This happens, right? And another thing is, sometimes what happens is they are financially dependent on their partner. Now if they have to pay the fees, the husband is going to pay now. So that's also a limiting factor, right? So what I suggest at that times is, there are many free portals available as well. I can't vouch for the quality, of course. I don't know. I have never worked in such things, so I don't know. But I know that there are resources available free of cost. There are many NGOs who are working which do not charge or charge very less. And in that case, you can go through therapy, and again, you don't need to tell your partner, you are an adult, take your decision. But many times this is also the reason that the partner is going to pay the fees and he just doesn't find any sense in that. So that is also a limiting factor. So practical issue of dependency and then emotional dependency both come in play. So that is also something that need to be aware of and then take care of depending on where you are.
yeah. I think we lost Vidya, Dr.
Yeah.
Ruhi.
I
Her
just
network
addressed her
is there.
question. So her question was
Yeah,
how to help from a mental health professional, right?
yeah.
Sure. Okay. So, see, if you notice that you are not okay, I'm not talking about having depression, I'm not talking about anxiety. If you just feel that you are not okay, the first thing you do is talk to the one that you trust. Okay, but do not take their answer personally, because the first reaction that most of the cases get is कि कुछ नहीं होता, yoga कर लो, meditation कर लो, ठीक हो जाएगा, and that's okay. But why this step is important is that there is a case that you get some good help, but there is also this, trial that you opened up your heart, which is very difficult to do. Okay, and then the next thing is you find a professional, especially after COVID. All the doctors, all the psychologists are available online. Just book a session online. Don't tell anybody. Just go for a session, do it, and just come back. That's all. Online, it's so much easier. I practice mostly online for the ease of it. That, because most of my clients are females, most of my clients are new mothers, because I'm associated with Cloud9. It's very difficult for them to leave the baby, especially traveling in Mumbai, right? 1 hour you have to come, 1 hour go just for a 40-minute session. So online makes much more sense to them as well as me, because I'm a new mom. I don't want to be away from my kid, right? So just ping. There are so many professionals online these days. Just whoever you feel comfortable with, and sometimes I'll say it right away. Sometimes it takes a few hit and trial. You talk to 2 3 people, then you feel comfortable that, no, I'm more comfortable with this one, and then start with that person. Important thing is prioritizing your mental health issue, prioritizing your own mental sanity, and just doing something about it. If in the beginning you feel that, no, I don't want to go to a professional, start taking 10 15 minutes, 30 minutes out and do something that makes you feel a little calm and lighter and all, and then progress. If you're able to feel better, great. If you don't, then we are there for you. That's how you find help. But help is available. You just have to click that button, and we are like literally all over the place these days. So don't worry about finding help. All you need to do is decide that you need help. That's all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ruhi. It was like some way you explained everything, and I really hope that this session helps out people. Okay, helps out everyone who joined and helps out everyone who watches this session later on. And guys, you're open to ask for help. You just need to ask, prioritize yourself. I recently I have coined this phrase for myself. Okay, that's something like something personal, and because we're talking about this topic, I just want to share it. I've coined this for myself. It's like for me, I am important. I am important for myself. So I need to be happy first. I want to keep others happy. Okay, that is my priority. But then I come first, because if I'm not happy, I will not be in a position to keep anybody else happy, especially my baby. So it was a struggle for me as well. I have been through this. This forum is not to discuss about my story, but then if there is a chance, I would definitely like to talk about it. I've been through so much, okay. And as Dr. Ruhi said, there's no point of blaming anybody, because you are the first person to be blamed. If you really want to start playing that blame game, that my parents, my in-laws, my husband, my baby, okay. So you can't do that. You really have to first prioritize yourself. Take a stand for yourself that now it's enough and I am important. I have to take care of my health, my happiness, my mental health is as much important as my physical health is. And do it for yourself. Reach out, ask for help, talk to people. As Dr. Ruhi said, there are so many free resources as well available. Even I was not aware about it. But then, yeah, we will try to share those details in the caption of this video once we post it online. So do that. And this is something only you can do, for yourself. Nobody else can do it for you. And thank you again. Thank you.
Beautifully said.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Ruhi. It was a wonderful session. Thank you so much for taking out time. And before we end the session, should we mention about the plan that we are coming up with?
Please go ahead. That would be great.
Okay, I was prepared to announce it, but then yeah, I'll just go I'll go with the flow. So Dr. Ruhi, as she's a psychiatrist. Dr. Rupali is Dr. Rumi's sister, and she's a physician, she's a diabetologist, and they're both working in Mumbai. And of course, there's Vidya and me. Okay, like I'm the founder of New Mother, and Vidya and I started New Mother together. So we guys are planning to have some physical meetup in different cities. For now, we're planning to start with Bangalore, Mumbai, and Delhi. Okay, so dates are not yet out. We have not finalized, the details. We have not even started talking about it. But then this is a concept, this is the idea that we are coming up with, and we are pretty much excited about it. We want it to be something like a Mother's Day out kind of a thing, wherein moms are coming in and we are having some sessions by Dr. Ruhi on mental health. We'll have some sessions by Dr. Rupali. We will also invite other experts to join us, depending on what we really want to cover in those sessions. So it will be an event, not a session really. It will be an event wherein moms will come and we want to make it more fun, more entertaining, and a place where nobody is judged, a place where you can be yourself, a place where you can form a community, a place where you can find friends for life, a place where people are around you are somewhat in the same phase of life as you are in, a place where people can understand what you are going through, people can understand and recognize your problems, relate to it, and you get to learn a lot from that place,
Yeah.
But along with that, it also has to be a blast,
Yeah.
okay? Because if you're going to have a physical event, I want it to be a blast, lots of fun, and like lots of fun and lots of musty, and yeah, that's it. That is the description that I have for that event as of now, and we will plan it in more detail and share all the details. Dr. Ruhi, if you want to share anything about it.
Definitely. So see, we are, so many people on this platform, and I think especially for the new moms, it becomes much easier if we have people that we can talk to, right? So the idea is to get all of us together and really bond. When we are doing this on stream, we are sharing the information, but then we are not seeing you and we don't know what your stories are. So I would, really love it if we all get together, really understand and what we are going through and be there for each other, right? Not just, when we can plan a live session. The community is always there for you. So physically meeting each other, thankfully after COVID is possible. So let's just get together, have some real fun and find some connections that we can depend on and be there for each other. I think that would be a wonderful stage for all of us to have.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Ruhi. We are already out of our time.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry to ask you for half an hour. It's almost an hour. Thank you so much. Thank you again.
With that, it will never be happening. Don't worry. Whenever it is our
Thank
time,
you.
I
Thank
always
you.
say one. I want to next time, so don't worry about it.
Thank you. Thank you.